listening to the Shite Talk podcast show. Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Talk podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's up?
On the Shite Talk podcast show's 123 episode.
Yeah, 123.
123. And first one of 2022, Ken. Feels weird to say.
Yeah. Do you know what the scary part about that is?
What?
It's 2020 part 2.
Oh, because of the whole pandemic thingy.
Yeah, well, you know, like 2022. You know, like Halloween 2, Jaws 2, 2022.
Oh, yeah, I get you. Also, if it was a year later and we are on our 123rd episode, it'd be 123. 23. 0, 2, 3.
Yeah, okay,
101 years in the future and we're recording this podcast on this episode. It would make sense.
If we recorded this podcast
100 years into the future when podcasts probably won't exist.
Like 1,000 years ago.
Prior to this, we would also be on our 103rd year. 122nd year. I know. Mad, isn't it? So we've kind of a mixed bag of things we're going to be talking about.
Mixed bag of shite.
Mixed bag of shite. As always, what I've done today, because usually I have like what we're going to talk about, but has all the details per topic. But now I've made a handy little kind of like the topics, then the information. Did this accidentally, but I quite like it. So we'll be doing a new segment of what we learned over our Christmas period, because we'll be away for 2 weeks. I'm sure we've learned lots in the meantime, Ken.
Yeah. Learned loads.
I think before the break we were talking about a woman who was selling farts for money and making a pretty good living off it.
Yeah.
We have an update on how she's doing with her business.
Yeah, and how good of a business plan that was.
Yeah, and we also have a story about a man who was ejaculating out of his ass for 2 years before seeking medical advice.
There's so many questions raised by that.
Yeah, like men are particularly bad at going to the doctor. Have you ever left off something you're like, I probably should get that checked out?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we've all done it. Like we've all been there where you're like, I probably should get that lump checked out, or I kind of have that weird itch, or there's bleeding coming from somewhere it shouldn't be coming from.
That's definitely happened.
Yeah, so like men are particularly bad. So like, can we really point fingers here? I think if I put myself in the shoes and I was ejaculating out my ass, it would be a little bit embarrassing to go to the doctor.
It's still something that you're kind of probably thinking, that's not right.
It's kind of like, because like every now and again, I don't really get to pick my actual doctor. I don't know if it would necessarily would be better off if it was a boy or a girl. I kind of think no matter who comes out to the operating room during that day, that's going to be embarrassing to talk about.
Like I changed doctors. The pandemic started because my doctor retired. Mm-hmm. Like now I've only got a female doctor.
Yeah, well, like I've had to get stuff checked out by female doctors but imagine some people are more comfortable if it's the same sex. I can understand why. I don't know if it necessarily makes a difference when it's that fucking bizarre.
Yeah, I don't think it makes it. Like, I think if anything, I know it's a weird thing, and you probably don't want to talk to a female doctor about it. But realistically, the female doctor's not going to really make as much fun of you.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, they might be a little bit more sympathetic. I kind of feel like they're going to talk about you in the like staff canteen.
They're going to talk about you anyway, but she's going to be a little bit more empathetic.
Yeah, because like if it is anything to do with your privates or anything like that, like you can kind of talk yourself off a ledge a bit. Like they're like, oh, they've probably seen like hundreds of these patients a week. This is very routine for them. Like they're not going to really blink an eye. With this, they're going to blink an eye.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Yeah, this is going to stick out. this is going to last in the memory.
It's going to be one of those things that you like put into your diary.
Yeah,
for when you become famous and you write a book.
I'm going to write a book about the oddest shit I've seen. And I'm going to name him and shame him.
Or name and shame.
This guy, this fucking weirdo. Yeah, so like, we'll be talking about that. And I'm sure everyone's on tender hooks now to learn who this person is. I don't think he's named, but like, the more details on the ejaculating asshole. And
but that's his name now.
Yeah, that's his name now. That's going to stick. And we also have, talking about assholes, we also have an update on the Nirvana baby story. So, a while ago, or last year, it revealed that the baby who was on the cover of Nevermind is trying to sue Nirvana for a whole boat of things. Like, one's like child pornography. There's any number of kind of allegations made against the band over this. I can't even really think of them. I don't think he was properly paid because his dad was brought to a house party and maybe given $100 or something like that, wasn't it? So
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't actually receive any royalties, and
it's similar to the U2 album Boy.
Yeah.
The kid on the front of that was given a Mars bar.
Yeah, but like once you like that is exchange of whatever the legal term. Once there's
like that's why they say if you fall or you slip in a shop, like you should never accept anything.
Yeah, because
it'll be used against you when you try to sue.
Yeah. Is that why your trick is? Do you come out, oh Jesus, you must be in shock. Have this chocolate.
That's what you're told to do. You're told to make a goodwill gesture. So like you give them like flowers or a box of chocolates or something, and then when they leave and they come back and they sue, you can be like, oh wait, you already accepted compensation.
That cup of tea wasn't fucking growing on trees. Well, it was, but that's your compensation. So now we know what not to do if we fall in the shop. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, like don't accept anything.
Yeah, so like we'll be talking about that, the update, and do you know this case? I'm sure there's a lot of nervous bands out there because there's probably pictures like album covers. There's probably loads of people who are on album covers who might either done it like for free or whatever, and could be at a shitty place in their life now and be like, hey, if Nirvana baby got some money, maybe I can. So like this was one that like could catch on and could become the whole, you know how bands are now trying to find notes that are very similar to other bands, and they're like, hey, that's breach of copyright.
Oh yeah, they're trying to find like similarities between the songs so they can be like, oh, I wrote that song, you stole it.
Yeah, because all bands use other artists' music as inspiration, as a kind of like, oh, I see what they did there. I'm going to try to change it enough so that I'm going to do something similar. And like, there's only a certain amount of chords in the world. I kind of feel like, unless it's a complete, and you see some like, was a Vanilla Ice ripped off Queen song.
Yeah, Under Pressure.
Yeah, like that was blatant. So like you kind of feel like that, like, oh, fair enough. They should be able to sue him over that. But there's
something that annoys me. But you see, the way the stuff like that works, like particularly with older bands, record companies own the rights to music, and the corporate office lease out like a part of a song so that you can sample it in a song. That's how it works. Eminem done it with Bad Company.
Yeah, Eminem does it with a whole load. Like, I think it's the real Slim Shady.
Kid Rock did it with Sad But True.
Yeah, well, that was another one where it was quite obvious the song where he was taking that from. I think Eminem's one with the real Slim Shady. Well, the first of all, it's not even really a well-known song, and like it's like when you compare them side by side, you can see. Oh yeah, I can kind of I can hear it, but like it isn't a blatant.
There's actually another really famous one. Since we're talking about Nirvana, Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit and Boston's More Than a Feeling.
Oh really?
Same song, different tuning.
Oh, they also ripped, and it was just basically the pace of it was Smoke and Water, and there's another band that they were fans of that they ripped off, and they're about to sue Nirvana, and then Kurt Cobain killed himself, and they're like, "What's the point?" And they just dropped it.
What's the point?
Well, I think they just felt bad for the band. They're like, "Oh, it's." They made some statement after, and they're like, "We're not going to sue them." Just kind of as a kind of like, sorry for your loss kind of thing. Yeah, but yeah, there's another one that like Nirvana ripped off.
Yeah, like Nirvana did it a few times.
Yeah, Metallica. If you there's like their latest album, there's like a YouTube of them behind while the song is in production, and Rob, the bassist, started playing this like Mexican kind of on a Mexican guitar, and he started playing it, and he basically changed that into like an intro to a Metallica song, and like you couldn't recognize them, but similar, but that's what his inspiration was from it, where he goes, "Oh, I've seen this like pattern, and I'm gonna I like this pattern in this Mexican music, so I'm gonna actually take it and use it for like a heavy metal song."
Yeah, there's loads of stuff like that. Like it's tough to know where to draw the line.
Yeah, exactly. What's inspiration and what's forgery?
Like there's the majority of the world's songs were written in 4 chords.
Yeah,
and it's the same 4 chords, and I don't know why people can't just get over that.
If we're kind of going off, did you watch that Beatles documentary? I imagine you're not a huge Beatles fan.
I don't really like the Beatles.
Yeah, I kind of got that off you, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be a massive Beatles fan either now. Like, I do like them. I do like their songs, but I wouldn't necessarily have them on playlists. I wouldn't really listen to them. And, like, the documentary is, like, made for Beatles fans. Like, if you're not a Beatles fan, like, the thing is 2.5 hours long, and it's like, I think it's 4 parts. I think I'm on part 3, but every single part's 2.5 hours. And you're like, what? If you're not a Beatles fan, how are you on part 3? COVID. Anyway, so we should get onto what we learned and get off music royalties, because we are going to spiral. So what did you learn while on this Christmas break?
Not much, really. Like, I don't know, not really happened or anything over Christmas, so.
You didn't watch any nature documentaries, learn, oh, that was interesting.
No, like, what, did I watch anything? I didn't even really watch anything kind of like mad. Like, just kind of chilled out and did fucking nothing.
Yeah, I guess that's the best thing you could do. I learned I had COVID. That's what I learned over, which was kind of surprised, because like when I found out I had COVID, I was currently eating dinner with my family.
Yeah, that's
didn't go down. It didn't go down well.
I wouldn't imagine that went down too well.
No, Jesus, the finger pointing after you tell people you have COVID. Something fierce. It's something that's not talked about in the media a lot.
The shame.
The shame.
Like, you brought shame upon your family.
COVID shame is a real thing. It was actually kind of a bizarre story, because we had a little bit too many. Like, the numbers that you're meant to have at Christmas is 6. And
no, the numbers you were meant to have this year was whoever lives in your house.
Yeah, it was whoever lived in your house, but they said no more than 4 households, wasn't it?
No, they changed it. It was like no more households. It was like your household and that's it.
That's okay. So like we kind of like didn't listen to that rule. We had
really?
We had 16, because we were going to have like 8. It was like, because it was just basically our family, and then my nana, and then 1 or 2 other people. And then another 2 people. We felt bad for them. Their plans didn't work out. And, yeah, come to ours. And then that happened again with another 2 people who were like, hey, come to ours. So we ended up with 16. Well, we ended up 14 for dinner, and then 16 in total because people came after. They said enjoy Christmas.
So you infected your whole family.
Well, see, that's the bizarre thing because like 3 people on that day had COVID. 3 people, like, we kind of know at that stage they would have had COVID on that day, and out of 13 people who didn't prior have COVID, 2 people got infected.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. We have these, like, we sell these air sterile units. This isn't a plug on the units. This is just what happened. So you had 2 of them in the room, in the kitchen, and we know the 2 people who caught COVID were one in the car with the person, and one was in a different room where the units weren't were, and they're the only 2 that caught it, and it was no one else caught it off anybody else. They were all PCR tested, and we antigen tested ourselves throughout that week until we were PCR'd, and nobody got COVID. No one else got COVID. So I think the units work. that's what we're putting it down to, like, as well. Because I thought that was kind of like it was really good because it shows me one thing: the masks do not work, and that the units they like also surface cleaning does not work. It's in the air, so if you can just clean the air, that's the important thing, is cleaning the air. So like that's the things we learned from there. That was interesting. But yeah, it was like COVID guilt was the thing because I was kind of making jokes about it because I was one of the close contacts, and like 4 days I was like wearing a mask, washing my hands, like staying away from my family because I was the closest contact. But we were all testing negative on antigens, and it's like, just to be on the safe side, just so I can stop this isolation shite, I'll book a PCR. So booked PCR, but like I had no symptoms, so I was like, yeah, it's 4 days. I start to like relax, and I was like, my family were coming over for a meal, so I was kind of keeping a little bit of distance, but I was just kind of eating behind them instead of like at the table. And I was like kind of making jokes. If you see me putting on my mask and leaving, you know I've COVID. And then I was like, mask on.
And then Mark puts on his mask and slowly backs out of the room.
Cough, 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 cough. Yeah, and that didn't go down. But no one caught it that time either. So I was like, that's good. So that's what I learned. I also learned, my other thing that I learned, other than the fact that I had COVID, and they infected my whole family twice, was that panda bears, are owned by the Chinese government.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't know that.
I kind of did know it. I knew it, but what was interesting was that they rent them out to other countries. So they don't just loan them like, oh yeah, have them to the zoo, but they're ours, by the way. It's $1 million, Ken. So
that's I didn't know that part.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I didn't know zoos would make enough money for just to have one animal there that was that expensive.
Zoos make a lot of money.
Yeah, zoos do make a lot of money. But I just thought, like, maybe the money that you spend on food would be a lot. The fact that they're also paying that much to rent out, like, panda bears.
It's a crazy amount of money for one animal.
Do you know how much money they spend on ice cream?
Go on.
£1 million. This isn't in Ireland. €1 million in Ireland they spend on for. I don't know if this is just like they buy €1 million worth of ice cream, and that's to sell in the shop. Now, the person who told me this worked in the business that sold the ice cream, and he said it was for the animals. Which I love that idea.
They give certain animals ice cream.
Yeah, that they spend €1 million give it on ice cream for just the animals. Like, I don't know if it's €1 million. Like, most of it goes to the shop where they sell it for people to buy it, and they make a slight profit on it. Or it's all the €1 million where ice cream goes to the monkeys and the grills. I just love to see the guy who has to feed a lion at 99.
Like, the majority of animals can't have ice cream, so the amount of animals that actually can have ice cream is probably fairly low.
What about penguins? Could penguins have ice cream? So that'd be a fun job. I'd feed the penguins. If I'd pick my animal to feed, it would be penguins, not snakes. Fuck that. Definitely not lions. I wouldn't even like the ones with the really long necks.
Giraffe.
Giraffes. I can't believe I couldn't get the word giraffes. They seem like assholes. They should have a worse name than they actually do.
Might it be crocodiles? Crocodiles would be what I'd go for.
You go for crocodiles, not like that'd be like your red flag going. I'm not doing crocodiles.
Yeah, like I'd feed the crocodiles and all that kind of shit.
The pigs eat anything. So if there's a pig, they probably get ice cream. I imagine the monkeys get ice cream.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be just funny to see them holding a 99 cone.
I wonder, are monkeys lactose intolerant?
That is an interesting question. We should get a zoologist on and ask them dumb questions like this.
Monkeys are lactose intolerant.
Oh, shy. I would have killed the entire monkey species in the zoos.
Yeah.
I'll have an anaphylactic shock. Is that from nuts? Yeah, I think that's from nuts.
There you go. Didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I found. Like that one, that you have to pay £1 million if you want to have a panda bear, like at your zoo. Which imagines that's why most places don't have panda bears. And that the zoo buys ice cream for animals. A lot of ice cream.
Maybe it's like, is it like animal specific ice cream?
No, I wouldn't say they'd make. Well, maybe if they're buying that much of it.
Like I googled it here, and it's apparently they make their own. They call it ice cream, but it's not really ice cream.
All right. Way to keep us fucking accurate there, Ken. I would have believed it.
They mix it with ice and fish and give it to sea lions.
Oh, that's interesting. That's disgusting. As well. Well, it's interesting.
Like, you ever see the lions? I know Photo Wildlife Park do it during the summer. They like freeze the meat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Wednesday they have to freeze the meat anyway because they only eat once a week.
Yeah, but like they eat every day.
Do they? I heard. Well, once again, I was in the zoo. I had to do work experience once in the zoo. Not doing anything with the animals, but like drawing them for college. It was dumb. And like they're I'm pretty sure I heard that they said that they only eat once a week.
There's certain animals that only
Dublin
eat once
Zoo,
a week.
that is.
Like reptiles generally only eat once a week or once every 2. Some of them only eat once a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the wild they wouldn't necessarily eat every day. They wouldn't be like fucking catching. Like sometimes it'd be like a good few days. You watch any of the documentaries?
Yeah, because like snakes, like they will eat and eat and eat and eat and eat because they are opportunistic eaters.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know when their next meal is going to come there. So
yeah,
like
when you have them in captivity, if you feed it every day, it's going to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, but it's going to get really fucking fat.
Like, stop feeding me. Dogs are the same.
Yeah.
Dogs are basically rats.
It's going to get really fat, and it's going to get respiratory disease, and it's going to die.
Kind of like humans.
Yeah.
Because it happens quicker. So anyway, so that's the two things I learned. I can't believe you had nothing to bring to the table here, Ken.
Yeah, no, I don't think I learned anything.
All right. For the last 5 years.
Not really.
Even longer. So I also have a story about a man ejaculating from his ass. Now, we might as well talk about this since I think this is probably the most interesting story.
Yeah, this one this is the definite shite talk story.
Yeah, exactly. If you had ever a category of a classic shite talk story, it's a man ejaculating from his ass. It's up there.
Yeah,
has everything. Has someone ejaculating.
All the hallmarks.
Has the ass, and has probably some weird sexual connotation to it. But like, he waited 2 years before seeking medical attention. So
that part's weird.
Yeah, so we were saying like, oh, we all put off stuff, and maybe it was just the like fear of actually going to your local doctor or even the hospital and having to like explain to somebody what's happening to you. So your man was 33 years old, and I don't think necessarily know where this actually happened. So I don't know what country it is from. Yeah, so like basically, this wasn't his only symptom that was going on for the last like 2 years. This is like one in a long line, a list of things that were happening in 2 years. So it wasn't just the occasionally ejaculating out your ass thing. It wasn't just like, oh, it's just like it only happens sometimes. This isn't even a problem, really. Like if anything, like it saves me on condoms. He was.
So this is a regular thing.
He was also occasionally urinating fecal matter.
Yeah, okay. He needs to get checked.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he was passing wind through his penis as well. So his penis was farting. He was having penis farts.
Is this definitely a true story?
Yeah, this is on I Fucking Love Science, Ken. This isn't any.
This isn't any usual willy-nilly shite
Yeah,
talk
these
story.
are highbrow. This is from a medical journal. These only go to the highest sources of information. 2 years prior to this, so like I'll get to what probably caused it later on. So like basically he was passing sperm through his ass and a bit of urine, farting through his penis and shitting through his penis. All that was okay for fucking 2 years. He was
Yeah,
like,
like, why didn't he think, okay, there's a problem here?
all right, now's the time to go to the doctor. Like, whatever they ejaculate, that's weird, and you probably should get that checked out to see what's going on there. But like, I think the shit coming out of your penis might be one like, okay, now is the time. What finally tipped him over the edge was he was starting to get pains around his nether regions. And then he's like, oh, okay, this is getting out of hand now. Yeah, I think it was around his testicles that he was getting pains. So, like, I'm pretty sure eventually he must have said it to a friend. He must have been like, hey, man, have you ever, like, shit out of your penis? He's like, no, man, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. You should get that checked out. And he's like, oh, yeah, I will. And it's been putting off. And he's like, hey, man,
one of these days.
does men ever, like, fart through their penis? Like, no, not that I think of. You queef? And he's like, oh, it's probably nothing. Then the sperm one, you probably definitely kept that to himself.
Yeah, maybe his friends for 2 years were like, oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah, maybe they're assholes.
I know a guy who this happened to him for like 2 years. He's fine.
Imagine someone was like, when he started complaining about pain, he's like, well, would you ever fucking get that checked out already? He's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go. He had an enlarged kind of testicle as well, and like none of this was like alarm bells, like go see a medical help. And he was like, oh no, and then the pain happened. So apparently, 2 years prior, he had a kind of a substance problem because he was stuck in a coma for 3 days after taking cocaine and some other medication.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so he was in a coma for 3 days, during which they probably stuck one of those colostrum bags on.
Oh yeah. Is that what caused the problem?
Yeah, he got like basically
You got an infection.
And that infection bore a hole through the lining between the two, and there was like a fluid line kind of virus basically passing through, as well as pushing other liquids through as well. So he's kind of getting deep contamination from both ends, quite literally.
Jesus.
So like they said, what was really weird is like they said, oh, everything had a happy ending because he was able to get medical treatment. They're able to sort him, but he still gets mild ejaculations through his ass for months after it.
What's a mild ejaculation?
Yeah, like I don't know, like if he ejaculates just randomly, like it just comes out there and he can't really hold it, so he might get like a little bit of a wet bottom. Or if like anytime he's like really aroused that like he's having sex, that instead of coming out of his penis, comes out of his ass.
That's just mental.
Because, like, he must be fighting over his girlfriend then to get into the bathroom after sex. He says, no, it's my turn. I need to rinse myself down.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's nasty. So that was him. He's there. So he only had mild. It only happened mildly, so it's barely noticeable. So you go back to ignoring it, basically.
That's just mad. Like 2 years.
Yeah, like the ejaculation, you'd nearly forgive him for that. Like, surely the shite coming out of your penis and farting then.
Yeah.
They're like, this is really weird.
Yeah, there's a problem here somewhere.
Yeah, like that must be extremely painful.
You'd imagine so.
Like, he must have quite runny shites. Like,
for him to like be like, it's okay.
be
it's fine.
able to push that out. Must be like, I wonder if it's like a syrup, you know. And did he wipe it? What was his cleaning methods? You know, does like, is it kind of like a toilet where like he pushes out the thing, then like he starts pissing to clear it out. Urine just kicks in then.
The syrup is happening again.
Yeah, it's syrup thing.
It's okay, it's fine. I just got irritable bowel syndrome.
Yeah, you know how sometimes some lads get like a little bit of pee all over the toilet. Like, they can't be trusted to get liquid in there. Imagine just like getting shit all over the rim. And I wonder if you knew what was the difference between if it's going to be water or if it's going to be shit.
Yeah, I just really, really don't understand how we let it go on for so long.
Yeah, but lads are a devil for this. Like, they're like I don't know. Like, I know a few lads who are like hypochondriacs where they'll get everything checked out. Like over the top sorts.
Yeah, lads they go one of two ways.
Yeah, where they freak out about the least thing, or then there's other lads like, I'm probably fine.
Yeah, like I kind of fall into the I'll be fine category.
Yeah, I was kind of like that. I'm trying to be a little bit better. I'm trying to like, I probably should go to the doctor once a year, like just for a checkup kind of thing. I kind of have been trying to do that thing. I am better now at getting things checked out. For if I did have anything wrong, but like, yeah, it's kind of like I have left things going. Well, if it was a problem by now, I should be dead.
That's my thinking.
That's what like. I've left it this long that if I haven't died now, it mustn't be a problem. I remember I had to go to the doctors to get stitches out, and it was like, it was the most pointless thing. Was, I think one of our friends was like, they didn't give you a kit to just cut them yourself. We were just given a little kit, and you were told to cut them yourself. You had to go to the doctor. I was like, yep. But while I was in the doctor's, I was like, here, could you actually? He's like, is that all you need? I was like, yeah, actually. Can you check out this spot? He's like, well, you probably should have checked. That was probably you sort of led with that, Mark. And it was just like, oh no, it's like a white spot. I was like, oh, grand. Yeah, so and that was like there for like at least a year or 2 years, and like a few people said, I should get that checked out. It's like, oh, next time I'm in.
Like I remember like ages ago when like, I don't know how long I was training, maybe about a year into training, and remember I used to get this like massive pain in my balls the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, it'll be fine. And I let it go for ages. And one day I was in my mum and dad's house, and my dad was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And I was like, I was paining me balls. He's like, what? And he's like, how long? I was like fucking ages, like about 3 months. And I was like, go to the fucking doctor. I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, yeah, you've got a hernia.
Yeah, I think I thought I had a hernia. I had a problem that was like, oh yeah, and I remember I got that. Yeah, I had a problem similar enough. And my dad was like, "Oh, it could be a hernia. You should get it checked out." But then I put it off, and then I end up going because I remember you were telling me this story, and I was like, "All right, I won't be a Ken, and I'll get it. I'll get it checked out." And then I end up having to get. It turns out I had high blood pressure, and you're like, just ignore the whole pain in your stomach for now, and concentrate on why your heart's like 90 beats per minute. Or 98.
it's kind of what your heart's about to explode.
Yeah, exactly. And turns out it was this white coat syndrome. It was kind of like, well, if you think my high blood pressure must be high, then you should see me when I'm fucking passing airport security. I don't know. It must be a very common thing that like airport security, even though you don't have that on you, that like you're gonna walk through the security and they're gonna find a bag of cocaine in your bag and they're like, where did this come from? And you're like, I don't know.
Like when we were coming back from Vegas, we had to like change over in LA.
Yeah.
And the flight from Vegas to LA was delayed. So when we got there, we had like 10 minutes to get through the airport to get to the flight from LA to Dublin.
Yeah.
So there was me and Aideen and these other two Irish girls, and we were running through the fucking airport. And when we got to security in the airport, obviously we were all sweating and looking panicked, and we all got searched. We all got stopped, and the security guard was like, what's the problem here? Like, you're all looking very panicked. What's up? We're like, our first flight was delayed. We have a second flight to catch to get back to Dublin. He's like, okay, but like, what's the panic? What's the rush about? And we're like, we've fucking 10 minutes to get to the plane.
Like, oh, you missed it now. And did you make it?
Yeah, we made it eventually. Yeah, it turned out that the second flight got delayed as well.
Oh, I think it must be depending on the number of people who are going to that destination. Because we're kind of, when I was coming back from Bali, we were thinking our plane was delayed taking off, but they rushed us through the next airport. They rushed us through. They didn't even check any of our bags or anything like that. They were just go, and it was like rushed us onto the plane, and then we were pretty much straight off then.
Yeah, it's mad, like. But yeah, hate airport security. Airport security always singles me out.
Yeah, well, I think I have a problem with my passport, so like that's another reason why they probably single me out as well. Because my passport was in bits and had no stamps on it, and I was in Bali, and they're like, "You have no stamps, and your passport looks like this." I was like, "EU, no stamps. They don't stamp you. Also, yeah. ID, young face." And I was trying to explain to a security guard who's never heard of Ireland.
Oh, jeez.
So, you know where I was coming from, what I was doing there, and why I was saying wasn't English, and getting annoyed. He'd heard of Iceland and he'd heard of England, but he had never heard of Ireland. I was like, no. He was like, Ireland. He's like, England. I was like, no, Ireland, Iceland. I was like, no, it's in between Iceland and England. If you get to Iceland, you have to turn around and go back. And I actually said that to him. I imagine people behind me who are also probably from Ireland laughing. Well, at least our job's going to be a little bit easier getting through.
Yeah, this guy's already done the hard work.
Yeah, exactly. My friend who was in front of me, she was waiting. He didn't even question her. She was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's going to be arrested. I'm just leaving. I'm here. I'm gone. I'm going to enjoy my few weeks in Bali while he's in prison."
Yeah, I'll visit him.
I might send him a letter. Yes, that's. We went on a bit of a tangent. I don't know how we got from a urinary problem to Mark's airport security problems.
It happens.
It happens. So we move on to the woman who was making money from farting, and an update on how her business is going. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, so she had the great business plan of selling farts in a jar, and she was making $200,000 or £148,000 farting in jars, and she's now retired.
I don't know if she's retired yet.
It says here she retired. She has announced her retirement.
Oh, right. Well, then she might have retired. I heard differently.
She announced her retirement because she ended up in A&E with a suspected heart attack. Turned out that she was just farting too much, and she had a buildup of excess gas that was causing like really, really bad problems for her.
Yeah, so like I was reading on one of the days she had 3 protein shakes, a huge bowl of black beans, and soup. Obviously, take my advice of the tomato soup and chicken, Ken. Into that, and she could tell that there was something wrong because she could barely breathe when she was lying in bed, and when she did breathe, she started getting a pinching feeling in her heart. And because she's not a man, she didn't actually ignore her and go, fuck, it's probably fine. And basically, she was so terrified. She was going to ring a friend to bring her to that because she thought she was, like you said, having a stroke. And when she got to the hospital, she didn't tell them about her business plan of, oh yeah, I'm currently farting in a jar, and paying people £1,000 for it, and people are actually buying this shit, literally buying this shit. But she did tell them about her diet, and the doctor said that basically gas from farting so much was because lack of gas leaving her body was causing this, and it was coming from her farts. So they actually knew it was coming from her farts, which is embarrassing. Like that, would imagine the doctor going, and especially for a girl, because men you'd be going, that's funny, and you laugh it off. But I imagine farting too much for girls must be far more embarrassing. For a doctor to have to say to you, it's because you keep farting too much. For a girl, breaking that to her must be like, yeah, especially if it's like a guy. There's like, I imagine he goes, I'm going to go get one of my female colleagues. She can tell you, because I can't take this. They did not train us for this in medical school. And given medication to stop her from farting, so they reduced the amount of time. So that pretty much ended her business plan. But like what I heard was that she was advised to change her diet and given a gas supplement in order to kind of stop her from farting as much. But it didn't kind of stop her. She has now switched her diet up, Ken.
Of course she has.
She's now eating mostly protein muffins, shakes, also hard-boiled broccoli, eggs. Maybe broccoli and hard-boiled eggs would make more sense. And have decided to branch out to try other dishes. Like she's loving her black bean salads, and she's also having pepper omelets.
Pepper omelets?
Yeah.
Well, that seems disgusting.
It does seem disgusting. Yeah, I think she's found that they make her fart smell a bit more, and that's why she started using protein shakes. So originally she was just eating kind of beans, kind of foods that a high fiber diet because there's a lot of beans. Protein shakes was making her fart smell worse or more fragrant. So she started introducing protein shakes into her diet. And because of Christmas period, she was given she lowered the price. She was charging $1,000 for a fart or £740, but per jar. And
the question there is like, who is actually paying like $1,000 for a fart?
She was offering 50% off for her products, and which she saw her squeeze out 50 jars were a week. Yeah, she was having a high fiber diet, living off beans and eggs. But she later added protein shakes to the mix after discovering that it made her fart smell worse. Yeah, and she said she knew that she had a problem because of she thought she was having a stroke. But like, by the sense of it, from this article, by the sense of it, she's not kind of giving up. And I kind of feel like later on there's going to be a future cookbook of how to make your fart smell worse, or Because
I think there's going to be a third part to the story where she dies.
yeah, so like she's making a bomb like 50 jars a week. That's 50,000. Like I would have cut my loss and gone, do you know what? I'll just go into porn.
Yeah, like
I've made a good living. That's
she's
just,
making 200 grand a month, and she was at it for 2 months. Like, that's 400,000.
yeah. Let's just branch out. Let's see what other weird shit people are into.
Yeah, let's just see what else I can do here.
I think the feet market is the way to go because you can make a substantial living off feet.
Maybe she has rotten feet. Well, everybody has rotten feet.
Yeah, exactly. I imagine the worse the better. Like in terms of for the sick thing. That's what I imagine. Maybe it's overcrowded because it's so mild.
Maybe, yeah. It probably is oversaturated market.
Yeah, but like, I can't believe she is continuing to do it. Like after all of that, she's like, "Yep, I'm gonna continue to do
it." She's definitely like she's gonna just die at some stage.
Imagine her house smells lovely.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Imagine the stink of her house. Where does she live alone, or does she have like a boyfriend or something?
She could redo an air sterile unit as well. I'm just saying. I think once the smells continue to stay there, it doesn't actually take it out. You have to deal with the smell. So maybe.
Yeah, she's gonna have to Febreze the shit out of the house.
Yeah, but like even 50 farts a week, 7 days in a week. That's like 7 farts, a little bit under 7 farts a day.
Like I don't understand why she needed to change her diet to do this, because like you fart like how much do you fart a day? Like you fart quite a bit.
Yeah, you do fart quite a bit. Exactly, that's what I mean. Like it's only a little bit over 7 farts a day.
Like you fart somewhere between 5 and 15 times a day.
So so like you wouldn't even like if you ate foods that you kind of knew you were gonna fart, you're probably gonna squeeze out 3 or 4 farts. I wonder how many farts you have to put in a jar though. I wonder if it's like you need several amounts of farts. Like one fart won't do it. You kind of have to like fart 3 or 4 times in order to really capture the smell. Cause she wants a quality project. Okay. She doesn't want to screw over her target market here.
It seems like a really quality product.
Just the business logic stinks.
Mark, the puns.
I know there's probably like these are probably mild puns. We can probably do better with the whole pun thing. And I imagine people are like, there's so much better ones than they are missing here. I will remind you that I am doing the show with COVID, so everything I mess up, I had COVID. I'm gonna just use this as my crutch. I finally have a crutch. Do you know how hard it is for a white man to get a crutch?
The COVID crutch.
The COVID crutch. I'm going to use this to the last. Everybody loves a good crutch.
Do they?
Yeah. Fat people have been fat. Ugly people have been ugly. I have nothing.
Oh.
We should move on to Nirvana Baby.
Oh yeah, Nirvana Baby. What's he up to?
So there's
besides being a fucking Egypt.
Being a fucking Egypt is pretty much what he is. So he tried to sue Nirvana. This guy on Nevermind we were talking about at the start. I don't actually know how much he was looking for in the lawsuit. But it's kind of
is he kind of like an idiot of the week?
I don't know if it's dumb. It's just more of an asshole thing to do rather than a dumb thing to do, because like people generally ideas of the week would be something that people wouldn't try to recreate, you would imagine. So like I imagine if this did caught on, people would try to recreate it. People would try to sue bands who either did artwork for them and didn't get paid properly or whatever. I think there'll be a long line of a lot of people will be looking at their album covers and going, "Are we exposed?" So I wouldn't say he's an idiot week. But anyway, he had a project that he wanted to work on, and he didn't really go into too much specifics, but he had asked the remaining members of Nirvana, as well as Courtney Love, to help him out with this project. And I don't think it necessarily got to them, but the management kind of brushed him off. And he kind of felt a little bit hurt by this, considering that he swam naked for them. And he's like, well, you didn't pay me for this, and I swam naked for you as a baby, so you owe me. And like, the management were like, no, we don't. We paid your dad in a good time and $100. So, so fuck off. And basically, this kind of spiraled to the point where he was suing them for basically using his image, his likeness, without any compensation. And yeah, also child pornography and all these other fucking weird things. He was trying to sue them, and he tried to sue everybody. He tried to sue Nirvana, he tried to sue the photographer, he tried to sue the label. Everybody was getting sued. He also tried to sue them all individually as well. So literally, he was just throwing shit and seeing what stuck. And the case was actually thrown out. The judge just looked at it and gone, no, you don't have that in here.
It's the funny thing with this guy. Like, I remember reading about this when he first started kind of trying shite talking about this. He actually uses the fact that he's the Nevermind baby to give himself publicity.
Yeah, exactly. Like
he actually tells people that he's the Nevermind baby. He recreated the photo shoot for is the album 30 years old or something?
Yeah,
he recreated the photo shoot quite recently.
Yeah, I think he did it as a child, and then he did it again when he was an adult. He had shorts on, so it wasn't full recreation.
So, like, I don't get what his problem is, really.
Yeah, I think, because there's a few people who, I seen when anybody was talking about it, a lot of people were either covering up the junk of the baby, just in case if this thing did get passed, that they didn't want to be then sued, or find himself in possible trouble for showing the image that was deemed to be inappropriate to be shown. And even some people are just using the Nirvana logo of the yellow Nirvana and the face, because they didn't know if it was. And it's coming up to their 20-year anniversary, or was last year, it was their 20-year anniversary. So this is when the band, we're going to probably re-release the album work or do something with the album work, and they probably like, oh fuck, no we can't because of this shite.
This dickhead.
Yeah, and like before, like he used to talk about it a lot, and he's actually got work from it as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he uses it for publicity, so he's obviously just a failed actor.
Yeah, he probably failed. Like, he obviously had some project, and he's like, oh no, if only I could get like Courtney Love and Dave Grohl, and they would just do it.
Yeah, nobody thinks I'm cool because I'm the Nevermind baby anymore. So I'm going to sue Nirvana because they didn't pay me. But they didn't pay me because I was a fucking baby, and they paid my parents.
Yeah, because it was like, the whole thing was like 30 seconds. They literally dipped them in, took the photo, and then that was it.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, it was like, I
guarantee if the album wasn't as successful as it was, he probably wouldn't have given a shit.
You know the black guy with the really big penis?
Yeah.
He's dead. Right. I am going somewhere with this. This is like, he's dead.
Mark's random information.
He's dead. There's actually, I think Vice did a documentary about him. Anyway, how the image got used, but he died years ago, long before the thing came a meme. And yeah, he died. So imagine his family are seeing his face. I think he was a bodybuilder in the thing, and where he was lifting weights, there was a gay porn photographer, and I think he would just worked as a security guard. So the family didn't really even know about this photo shoot he did, because he was asked, oh, do you mind if I shoot you for this magazine? And man went along with it. So that's where the image of him did, and obviously then his dick was enhanced for comedic effect. But it was basically, he did it, and then it was obviously on a server, and someone must have found it on like a gay porn site, and the image just went viral of like images being made. But like, I think he was dead. I want to say 10 years prior to, or he died like early noughties or maybe into like 2012. Like it was like he's dead a good while after. So imagine his family seeing their relative like on all over the internet on memes everywhere.
Yeah, that's a bit mental. Like,
Yeah, so like I imagine they feel like, oh, we should sue the internet. Who do
yeah,
we
we
sue?
should sue everybody.
We want to sue everybody for this because this is defamation of his name. But he obviously was. He obviously paid. Your man obviously paid him for taking the shoots, and then stuff. Yeah, if you look up, I don't know what you search.
Why did you look that up?
I think I came across it. I think it was those weird searches. Da 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 da.
Mark looked up guy, big dick. Big dick guy.
Big dick, weird documentaries. It's like that's why it's like Google must think the worst internet history because I think like today I was googling man who ejaculates from his ass, and then there's a woman who sells farts.
What could possibly go wrong?
And then so like all the shit that I searched, there's like, yeah, this guy's a weird guy. That's why I'm getting shiwis for advertisements.
Shiwis.
Yeah, that's why Wish send me shiwis and these like really like S&M like dresses on my advertisements. You know your Facebook ads and like Wish always sees like these really random things. And there might be one thing you go, oh, that's cool, and then everything else is just weird.
Maybe think about rejecting cookies, Mark.
Never reject cookies, kids. Ever. They're delicious. But they don't let you on your site. It's not like you reject them and go, oh, I'm okay with this and this. And then you go into like a bar. It's like, accept our cookies or fuck off.
Yeah.
So that's just our site, our rules. It doesn't really work. Do you know anybody has ever went on and they're like, I don't accept these cookies. I'm not using this site.
Well, like under European law now, they have to give you the option to like accept necessary cookies only.
All right. I might look for that then.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Good tech advice from Ken there.
Like I don't generally look up stuff too often.
Yeah, you just go from what you see on Facebook.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll see someone a screenshot, so I was like, it was early in the week I seen it, so like I just go, I'll just Google it and it'll pop up.
It's the way that all COVID information is gathered these days.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, just look at it. Just look at Facebook and find some clown that's Facebook educated.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's another thing I realised. People taking medication that shouldn't have, and then end up at the ambulance come going, why did you take this? They're like, Facebook?
because the doctor on Facebook said so.
Oh well, my nutritionist shouldn't be giving you medical advice.
Yeah.
He goes, broccoli good, chocolate bar bad. That's nutrition. That's that. You don't go, oh, by the way,
He's a sports scientist. He knows science.
if you have a herniated disc, you should take this tea. Don't listen to him. Blank him. Go, no, I'll be back after I go to a physiotherapist and possibly a doctor.
Yeah.
Then I'll come to you again and we'll talk about broccoli. Benefits of broccoli in my diet. That's your ballpark. Stay in your lane, bitch. Next time I want to pick something up and put it back down exactly where it was, you're my guy. You're my guy.
Yeah, next time I want to learn to squat badly, I'll come to you.
Yeah, exactly. But my medical advice, YouTube and my doctor. Those are the only ones. I'm taking that off.
Yeah, so that's that.
It's good to be back. We've hit our hour mark, so we can stop talking shite. We We'll be back next week with another show, I guess. Yeah, we'll keep doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some more thinly veiled insults towards people we know in our personal lives.
Yeah, exactly. Passively, aggressively jabbing their friends and family.
I wouldn't say friends.
Yeah, but people who we follow on social media.
People who we know.
They're listening.
They're ringing you now.
Oh God. I knew we shouldn't have done this podcast live. Anyway, we'll be back next week. Talk to you then.
Good luck.
Shut up and sit down.